Hello, my friends. We're starting off with the tea leaves today, and we'll see where it goes from there. I haven't had throat problems in a while. So we start off with the month of November. Only you will know if this is something in the past, a past November, or a future November. But let's go on. We have the forest, which is muddled, unclear thinking. The lily, spiritual love. Fox, shrewdness and resourcefulness, especially in business. So perhaps you are very business-minded, but you have found yourself in a spiritual love. That would be a shock. And you are very tempted. And there is a man involved. Perhaps you are a man, perhaps this spiritual love person is a man. And here we have, wish will not be granted. I don't know what that wish is. But we also have great happiness. So, as usual, when you are dealing with life or the divine, if you believe in something like that, which most people do, wow, my train of thought just got completely derailed. That doesn't happen. Not like this. All right. So, this is your situation. Honestly, it looks like a soul connection. Because of the muddled, unclear thinking, the inability to focus or hold on to a train of thought, which is what just happened to me. Wish will not be granted, but you will also have great happiness as an outcome of this, which is typical of soul connections. At some point, the people involved, at least one of them, wants this connection to become permanent, to become their ideal relationship. Hopes that the other person will be their ideal person. But most of the time that does not happen. It's the exception, not the rule. What does happen is great happiness, because it's part of the process. There's a lot of disagreement on that, so, don't take my word as law. You'll have to make your own decisions on that. You should never let anybody else do your thinking for you. Never ever do that. But I am really struggling with some... I'm trying to get a feel for this. Whether or not you end up in a long-term connection with this person, that wasn't the point, so you will not be a failure, or it is not any kind of failure to go on to a different, unexpected life. That's typically what happens. It's part of healing, part of the process. All right, so let's see who you are. Other than November and being really scattered and muddled in your thinking, it appears you are the bat. Don't ask me why I use the small ones. I have no idea. All right, the bat, of course, is an air sign. It's interesting. I'm double checking something here because... No, I'm sorry. The bat is a fire sign. That is unexpected too. I would never have thought of a bat as a fire sign. But obviously I didn't write this. I didn't create this. I didn't do the research to determine what's what. I have not found the page yet. I just looked up the symbol, that's all. This bat is really hiding. I suppose bats are really good at that. They always hang out in caves, don't they? Maybe a bit of hermit energy here. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong one. It is air. Darn it. At least I think it is. Of course, I can't find it. There it is. I'm still getting hermit energy, but let's see. Yeah, air. Darkness, letting go. Death leading to rebirth. Before emerging, the bat waits for the sun to set and the moon to rise. In the darkness, it can see all that was invisible in the daylight hours. The bat is a master of the subtle senses of the underlying forces that cause some things to prosper and others to fade. The bat card shows up to signify the ending of a chapter, the closing of a door. The bat comes swiftly, encouraging us to move on. In just a few hours, a new day dawns, no more lingering in the past. Okay, I'm getting 8 of Cups here, not Hermit. When in balance, accepts, adapts, and adjusts. When out of balance, refuses to let go, reminisces. To bring into balance, watch the sunrise. What's really odd is the bat's wings are very fiery colored on this card. So fire and air are both considered to be more masculine elements. I don't know what that has to do with anything. It just came to me. We also have death leading to rebirth, so there's definitely some death card vibes here, as well as 8 of Cups. All right. Let's see what Tarot has to say to you. Nope, we're going with a goddess. I don't know why. Maybe to balance out all the masculine energy here. What goddess wants to speak to this bat person? It appears you have 2 goddesses that want to speak to you. We have Lilith and Etain. I don't know if I pronounced that right. Okay. Lilith. Etain. Starting off with Lilith. Lilith is a Middle Eastern goddess of abundance, fertility, and fecundity, the giver of agriculture to humans. The first woman created and the first wife of Adam, she refused to be subordinate to Adam in any way. Lilith is associated with the owl, a figure of darkness and deep wisdom, for she is also a goddess of death and transformation. Wow, you're really getting slammed with that. She is sometimes represented as a demonic figure for her dark wisdom, and her sexual energy can be very threatening to men. She is known to appear as a frightening figure in dreams. Lilith is associated with the lotus, and the symbolism of that flower tells us much about her. The lotus, an exquisite flower that grows out of dark, rank, decaying earth, represents spiritual unfolding and the blossoming of the heart of wisdom. Like the lotus, Lilith challenges us to look upon our dark side and incorporate it into our wholeness so that our great beauty can blossom forth. All right. And Etain, whose name literally means shining one, was a Celtic moon goddess, the second wife of Midir, god or king of the underworld. Midir's first wife, Fuanmach, was jealous of Etain and turned her into a fly. Falling into a glass of wine, Etain drowned. She was reborn and married Ochid, a fertility god. Midir challenged Ochid to a game of chess. The result was that Etain must spend half her year underground and half on Earth. Oh, this sounds familiar, right? Etain is especially a symbol of fertility, of the vitality and life of all growing things, a goddess familiar with both life and death. She teaches that wherever we are, on Earth or in the depths of the underworld, we too can be shining. I think this really is a reassuring message for you. It's just because something, becoming powerful can be threatening to others, and maybe even threatening to your sense of self. And Lilith is a card that represents just that. And this whole process, this spiritual love, was meant to help you transform, which means the old you has to die so that the new you can come into being. And perhaps the old you is never going to completely go away. The old you is, without the old you could never be the you that you are becoming. And perhaps there are people and situations that you won't be able to let go of. For example, if there was some sort of a relationship or a connection with children involved, then, until the kids are grown, you are still stuck with this person, or having some sort of connection to this person for the sake of the children. There may be other situations where you are required to keep one foot in your old life while you continue to grow and change and evolve. It's not an easy situation, but there are lessons in that too. So it looks like a lot of growth and change for you. And the process is not an easy one. You may be, I'm not sure whether your muddled, unclear thinking is dominating right now or whether it's in the past, like November. Or it could be coming up for you next November. I don't know. Hopefully not. Or maybe it will be over by November. The sooner the better, I know. And I hope that is true for you. All right, let's see if now we can go to the tarot. What do the tarot cards have to say to you? Interesting. You have a lot to master, a lot of learning ahead of you. So you've been learning new skills. That's part of this transformational process. But you don't just learn them. You have to it takes some time to master them. So you can do a lot of healing very quickly, for example, but learning to apply that healing to your day-to-day life, to really live that new understanding, to be that better person, better, healthier person. I should just say healthier person. Better is too judgmental. But integrating that healing into your life so that it becomes every part of it is part of all of your life takes time. And it usually takes the tearing down or destruction of your old life. So your old life, it was what it was. It served its purpose, and it is no longer serving you. So it's time to build something new. It's time to look at things that have been hidden from you. It's time to look at new abilities, your shadows. There's usually valuable things hidden in your shadows. Oh wow, the deck is closed. That didn't take long. Okay, so as I was saying, there are valuable things hidden in your shadows, in what you've been hiding from yourself, what you've been hiding from society, the things you don't want anybody to know about you or you don't want anybody to see. There's always a flip side. For example, I was just reading about the shadow called weakness. According to Richard Rudd of the Gene Keys, the other side of weakness is tenderness, which is very, very different. Or at least it seems to be. I haven't read his entry in the book, so maybe it makes a lot more sense if I would read that, right? Another example we have here is fantasy. The flip side of fantasy is emanation. I think that one is a little easier to understand because a fantasy is something that you keep to yourself. It isn't reality. Emanation is when that fantasy turns outward and becomes something that can possibly manifest or take some sort of form in the external. So if you think about all the things that we have today, smartphones, for example, they started out as an idea, a dream, a fantasy. And then little by little, they became reality. It took time, a lot of time. I think they probably started, well, maybe even earlier than, I was going to say the 50s, but it may have started even before the 50s. The idea that you could talk to somebody and see them at the same time while you were talking to them. But I don't think they ever imagined that a phone could also be a computer. Computers at that time were huge. I think they still were at the stage where they were the size of rooms. One computer was the size of an entire room, and it could hardly do anything at all compared to today's computers. So, your shadows are worth looking at. I'm not saying it won't be painful, but there's treasure there. You do have to, if you need help processing what you are experiencing, then by all means get some help. Humility may be part of your process. And if that's the case, you will probably need to get some help because asking for help is a very humbling experience. And it may be exactly what you need. Let's see, I want to revisit the bat. I feel like there's something missing. There we go. Darkness letting go, death leading to rebirth. Oh, bat card shows up to signify the ending of a chapter, the closing of a door. So we've got death and the world card represented by the bat. So you are about to enter a new chapter. The world card is also a card of success. So I realize that going through the tower makes it seem like everything has fallen apart. Perhaps you feel like a failure. And your secrets are exposed. That is not the end of the world. It is an opportunity for healing. It is an opportunity to rebuild something better, to become stronger and healthier. But again, if you need help, by all means get it. I am wishing you all the best.